Know there's a lot of questions in why people are able to do things like that, but I do want to say today that it's not a secret. There's a few reasons why I'm able to do these things, and I'm gonna talk about them today. It's something that is very flexible for me. It's something that has really worked for me and has worked for a ton of other people. And so that's what I keep up with. And you might be thinking, hey, Chris, if you got a W-2 job, how do you have time for investing in other things? Having a W-2 income, it makes you more attractive to lenders. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today I want to talk about the 3 reasons why I'm able to travel, although I'm not rich. I know a lot of folks out there may be thinking that, hey, how are you able to make these trips to Gulf Shores? How are you able to, make all these trips over to Mexico, to Merida, to Playa del Carmen, to Akumal? How are you able to, purchase properties and things like that? I know there's a lot of questions in why people are able to do things like that, but I do want to say today that it's not a secret. There's a few reasons why I'm able to do these things, and I'm gonna talk about them today. The first reason is I'm doing all this while I'm still working for a job. That's right. I know there's a lot of investors out there that say that you shouldn't trade your time for money, and there is a lot of truth to that. But I'm here to say that there is more than one path to financial freedom, right? And for me, the path is to keep my W-2 job. Now, if there ever becomes a time in my life where I feel like I don't need to have it anymore, then of course I will get rid of it. But for right now, it's doing a lot for me. And I'll tell you some of the things that it actually does. Having a W-2 income, it makes you more attractive to lenders. So when you actually have a paycheck that folks know that you're going to be getting on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, or a bi-weekly basis, when you actually want to do things like invest, buy properties, or get credit cards, it's easier to get approved for those things. So when you are a self-employed person, it is 10 times harder. They usually want to see tax returns, and most self-employed people don't keep really good books. So without trying to cheat the system or doing something that could get you thrown in jail, you end up in a situation where you can't get any type of loans for anything. So keeping my W-2 job was one thing that actually helped me move forward in my career. Move forward with my investing. And you might be thinking, hey, Chris, if you got a W-2 job, how do you have time for investing in other things? You have to run the right play. So one thing that I'm always telling you guys is you need to run some type of play. It may not be the same play that I'm running, but that may be based on how your life is set up. The plays that I'm running are based on how my life is set up. The plays that you run should be based on how your life is set up. So, for example, if you work a traditional 9-to-5 job, you need to run some type of play that you can do after that, right? If you don't have a flexible job, whereas what I'm saying, like you're going to work every day and you're sitting at a desk, you're going to have a hard time running some of these plays, right? If you have a more flexible job, you might can do that, but it's not going to prevent you from being able to do something. My point is you have to be able to run some type of play. And today is not the video for me to talk about plays, but I just really want to let you know that it can be done. You just have to find a play that actually just matches with your lifestyle. So that's the first thing, is keep that W-2 job. The number 2 thing is you have to build income that helps you pay for your experiences. That's right. So the first thing is you have to keep that W-2 job. The second thing is you have to start building additional income. For me, and I'll say it again, the play that I ran is the short-term rental play, right? And I started a different way from a lot of different people. Some people actually they go out and they purchase, some of these properties that are in Florida. It was a huge rush in Florida back about 4 or 5 years ago. People were printing money to basically stay in these short-term rentals. Not so much anymore. But what a lot of people did was they went out, they bought these short-term rentals. There was some travel rooms travel booms about 5, 6, 7 years ago, and people took advantage of it. Some of those people are starting to fall off now, and they're not making so much money, but they were able to do that a few years ago, and they made a ton of money off of it. My path was a little bit different. I told you guys my story. I owned a house, I got promoted on my job. My job moved me to a different city. And so instead of renting my house out, well, actually, I first rented out. That ended up becoming a disaster. You can actually watch the video about that right here. But then after that, I pivoted to short-term rentals. And then that kind of got me into the short-term rental space. And then I kind of multiplied it from there. So if you go back and you see my story, you will see that I started with my house. Then I went into some arbitrage properties. And then I bought a house sight unseen. And then I kind of just, kind of built up from there. But right now I'm in a situation where I have passive income from those investments I made, right? So I have my W-2 job, right? And with that W-2 job, it affords me to be able to get loans. If I want to, get a loan for a house, if I wanted to purchase a house, I could do that because I got that W-2 job. In addition, it allows me to get credit cards, what I could take advantage of on credit cards. I could use these points. What are points good for? Points are good for travel. Points are good for, getting hotel rooms, for flights and things like that. And so because I kept my W-2 job, it actually catapulted me to be able to do these things a lot smoother, and it enabled me to do these things a lot quicker versus quitting my W-2 job and trying to build up my dreams from there. The third point is I don't travel fancy, I travel smart. So going back to what I said about the points. So I always try to look for strategies where I can maximize my points. So when I'm traveling and I'm going out of state or out of the country, the first thing I'm looking to do is where can I get the most bang for my buck for my points. So I'm not just out there online just like searching for something. I'm strategically planning where I want to go and where I could get the most bang for my buck. I also have credit cards where I don't have to pay a lot of these conversion fees. You have to be able to plan for that. So, because if you don't do those things, you're going to end up paying a lot more fees than you normally would do, and those are fees on the back end that can make your trip a lot more expensive than it would normally be. So if you plan your trips the right way and you understand some of the things that'll create advantages for you, your cost will be a lot lower than what it would typically be. So I just wanted to make this quick video just to jump on here and talk about, you don't have to be rich to do this travel. You don't have to be rich to run these plays, and you don't have to quit your job to start your business. You can get out here and you can start a business on the side. It don't matter what it is. If you want to get a box truck and make runs over the weekend, that's a good play you can run, right? If you want to deliver, Uber or DoorDash, that's a play you can run. There's so many plays that you can run that can help you move the needle. I just happen to like Airbnb and short-term rentals with arbitrage. That's something that is very flexible for me. It's something that has really worked for me and has worked for a ton of other people. And so that's what I keep up with. Not saying I wouldn't change in the future, but that's what I'm doing right now. So again, those are the top three things that I've been able to do to travel without being rich. If those are some of the things you like to do, drop it in the comments. Let me know what you guys are doing out there to be able to travel. And if you like to travel, or if there's other things that you like to do with your time, as always, like, comment, subscribe, and join the movement. We'll chat soon. Peace.